think it would be beneficial to have both because especially with the page, because it pops up so obviously here. But at the same time, if you can always get people from your group to join your page and your page to join your group if you have both, and then you can kind of see what your audience is there.
What are the uses for both of them in particular? Because for the group, I mean, I know we can post things and send out messages to anybody that's on board with us. How is that different than the actual pages? And because I've seen they change the page, like they say the whole catchphrase is now it's more like a profile.
Mm-hmm.
But
the difference that I've noticed the most is that groups is more like any of the groups that I'm in is either for the Chicago network or for the NIU network, and whereas the pages is more global Facebook. Like anybody on Facebook can join those pages. Whereas
there's no limits.
Yeah, there are no limits on pages, and then the groups are more localized.
They're a little bit, I mean, from a communicating standpoint too, they're a little bit more one-directional. Pages tend to be pushing content towards you a little. I mean, there's one way to look at it versus groups are much more sort of, they're group-generated content more traditionally. I mean, you can certainly update things obviously from the group side, but the page is designed in a way that it's more about the members of the group sharing information, whereas a page it's a little bit easier to sort of be more of pushed out information.
And the group also is more, it sometimes can tend to be like an inside joke or just like a small group of ideas where, I mean, like if there's something going on like within like our PRSSA chapter and we have like a small group, like there's groups of only like 8 people. But as she said, a page is definitely something that's more global and it's more, in my opinion, it's something that's more, people would kind of search for a page more than they would a group if they're looking for an organization at this point. Before it used to be more of a group, but I think now it's kind of shifting towards pages.
and you send out messages through pages as well. I mean, you wouldn't want to. You'd pick one of those outlets to send out to all your members, correct?
Those
You
come
don't
as
wanna-
notifications typically, I believe, from pages. They don't come as actual messages in your inbox.
Right,
Oh.
it'll say like up on, when you log into, like if Virginia would go to her homepage, up on the top, where it would be where the friend request was, it'll say one update. And
Do you
you'll
want
click
to
on
show
it.
in your inbox so you can show the difference between your inbox and what your
Yeah.
notification?
I'll do this real quick. I think it's under here. Updates. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are what I'm like fans of pages, and whereas like John Mayer sends out little messages. No, down by my notifications, when they send out a message to their like the people in their group who like the page, it'll pop up in the notifications in the bottom. Whereas groups, it'll come in an inbox where this is a lot of times like bands starting out or local events that they'll send out messages and it'll come as a message. Like, for example, I keep using Rock for Life, of course. They'll send out messages and the inbox will say that you have one, and then it comes directly from the person, and it's just kind of more personal. But yeah,
Sorry.
oh no, you're fine. But yeah, it just kind of differs in that way, where it's just kind of.
Well, and additionally, if I can piggyback, I belong to a book club, which of course I never have time to read the books, but I belong to a book club, so they'll send out a notification to all of us into our inboxes that, okay, we're going to be discussing, it's Chauncey's book club, so Chauncey's book club will be discussing this book online at this time on this date, so they'll send that into the inbox. So that's another example of a kind of a tighter, more intimate group sending out a notification into an inbox.
One quick question for you, Virginia. When did you sign on to Facebook?
I started to get on Facebook when my freshman year
So you
of
were
college.
18.
Because it started in 2004, and I came to NIU in fall 2005. So Facebook was still new. It was still just college students when I started out. So I've kind of watched it evolve, and I was part of the Don't Let Other People Onto Facebook group.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because now my mom wants it, but
It's all right. Yeah, they can do that.
But yeah, I've grown with Facebook so I've watched it.
And why did you decide to go to Facebook? Were you invited by somebody, or did you just go there and say, this looks pretty cool?
Actually, my friend Mike was like, you have to have it. This is the new thing. So
Okay.
I joined it, and I also had a MySpace, but I feel like Facebook is more personal, but it's not intrusive. I feel like MySpace is intrusive for some reason. I don't know what it is exactly about it. But
You can't set up your privacy as
Yeah.
easily.
For example, like on MySpace, there would be a lot of there are just like a lot of random people that don't know anything about you. They can just like browse you and find you. But whereas mine, I have it hidden, like where people have to like search my name, like my full name to find me, and they can't see my pictures that are tagged of me, and they can't see any of my profile unless I add them as a friend. And requesting a friend, they can see your profile at first just to figure out who you are. Maybe if your pictures of like your cat or something, which I don't recommend.
Yeah.
In the settings area, there are all kinds
I'm
of
sorry?
privacy settings that you can lock it down even more tightly than it's already there. So you can lock it down to only specific groups of people being able to see your information. So it's even tighter than, you can make it very, very tight,
Yeah.
your security.
What's the difference between a friend and a fan?
Well, the fan is more, is just mostly for the pages. Like I'm a fan of John Mayer, but it's not like, I'll give you one example. My friend Matt is also an artist, like a singer, and so when I type in Matt drag, there we go. This is his actual Facebook page, and then this is his fan page, because he wants to get fans as a singer, but at the same time we're friends, and so it also kind of gives groups and companies and maybe even people in corporations the chance to have their own personal private Facebook page versus I'm a fan of this person. And did you have a question?
Just was curious on your frequency of using the site.
Oh.
That was going to be my next question.
I know a lot of people, especially my friends with iPhones, they're on there at least, I'm not kidding, once an hour, at least maybe once a half hour during class, anytime they're bored. I check my Facebook every day I wake up. I go to my computer, I check my email, CNN.com, and Facebook, and it's just kind of, I think a lot of people are recognizing that, like my teachers are getting Facebook and starting groups to send class messages because they know that some people don't check their school email. But yeah, I'd say I check it. I'll say 4 times a day, and because I always check it before I go to bed too. Just to get last minute messages.
And
Checking.
I second that, because I do have the iPhone, and it's anytime I'm bored, anytime during lunch, I'm constantly on it, just checking it, because it's habit, and if I don't, it's kind of like it's one of the things that I definitely go to.
Yeah. Over spring break, I didn't have access to a computer, and so I was without it for 7 days, and my roommates were all checking their Facebook, but I was like, I'm gonna go without it. I know a lot of people who are thinking about giving up for Lent, but they were like, I can't do it. I